Shalom. What I wanted to go ahead and talk about tonight, this world that we live in is a mess. And it's all because of us. That we are the problem. Everybody wants to sit and cast blame and point fingers. It's this other person's fault, or it's that group's fault, when you're not looking at yourself. I remember a phrase out of the scriptures that says, "He who is without sin cast the first stone." Seems like there's a lot of stones being thrown lately. And a lot of stones being thrown by hypocrites. Here in the United States, I've been on this earth now for almost 45 years. And our government right now, the people that are supporting what's going on right now in the government, the craziness that is this current presidential race, is a full-up three-ring circus. All it's done is help create division. There's no unity involved. This nation, just like many other nations, because of politics and because of people doing things for a political agenda, has fractured and split every society by and large globally. You have countries that are trying to tell other countries how to protect themselves, what they can and cannot do. Some countries who try to navigate foreign policy and utterly fail and fall flat on their face. Financially, the global economy looks like it's about to tank. If anyone ever remembers reading, if they even still teach it in school, about the Great Depression, people need to start getting ready for the 2.0 version of that. The problem is people are so fixated and focused on these things, your social media. That's not what's important. People in this day and age in society, they have no survival skills. They've been urbanized. You stick somebody, millions, into urban centers: Dallas, Chicago, Los Angeles, New York, Boston, Philadelphia. Need I go on? Once the system comes down, crashes and collapses, not even 6 hours later, each of these urban centers, as I call it, are going to look like third world war zones. Because people are going to be desperate for supplies. People are going to be robbing, looting, whatever they can get their hands on. If you have something with you and somebody wants it bad enough, they'll kill you for it. People don't have survival skills to get outside of the urban areas. They don't know how to survive off the land, how to conduct personal hygiene, how to catch and trap food, how to cook it, clean it, how to maintain a good hygienic camp, much less how to even build your own shelters. They don't know how to do it. Me and several people over the years have joked. What would happen if you were to take everybody's cell phones away from them? Or better yet, all the internet satellites were to shut down at the exact same time. You have no more social media. You have no more YouTube. X, previously called Twitter, Facebook, Truth Social, and so forth. People would lose their minds. You would think somebody just cut off somebody's arm or their leg. Essentially, all this would be good for at that point would be to make a phone call. Everything else would be worthless. All of our money that we have right now, it's on these things. We are at the point of the precipice to go into a full-blown cashless society. And when I go out, I see people buying stuff. Stuff they probably don't even need. They just buy it. They see something that's on sale and it triggers a response in their brain that I must have that. You don't need it, but you want it. You have women out there wasting thousands and thousands of dollars on makeup and all of this garbage because they want to be able to look good, because they can't stay happy and content with the way they naturally look. You have guys out there who seek the approval of others. Women do this too. Of going and buying the nicest, sports car, SUV, or pickup truck, motorcycles, because you're trying to compete with the person next to you. But of everything I just said, why? What is actually missing in your life that you feel that you need to go and do all of this to purchase and acquire things you have no need for? To take vacations that cost thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. And for what? To escape reality for a short time, to live in a fantasy world only to come right back to where you started. And guess what? There goes your $12,000 or $24,000 you spent for a 1-week getaway. It's gone. When you could have done a lot more with that money than blowing it on a vacation. Life is not easy. It's never going to be easy. I see people running around like chickens with their heads cut off in major cities. Everybody hustling around, running to the next job or trying to please their boss, looking like they're all about to have a heart attack. All because of nothing. None of it means anything. You have all these millions upon millions upon millions, billions of people out there. They live their day in, their day to day, day in, day out. And at the end of the day, all that they're trying to do is find the way to seek confirmation and approval from other people. That's it. That is what it boils down to at the end of the day. You have somebody that goes and pays $150,000 for a sports car. Oh man, nice car. You got the approval you were so well seeking. You get a woman who spends 3 hours putting on makeup just to go out the door for a couple hours to be told she looks beautiful. You have your confirmation. People go and pay millions and millions of dollars for some of these homes just to bring people over to entertain them because they want approval from other people. I don't understand why this people in society are so stuck on seeking approval from other people when it literally means absolutely nothing. It doesn't mean a thing. What you're looking for, that, that adulation to make you feel better about yourself, help you boost your self-esteem. Somebody must live a pretty miserable existence if they are needing adulations from other people to help boost their morale, to make them feel better about themselves. That is a sad way to live a life. I was listening to a story a friend told me the other day about a UFC fighter, Conor McGregor. And he's got apparently people from all over the sport entertainment industry. I guess they were giving the guy a hard time because as much money as he has, he still has one of those old school flip open phones. And I think I was told that maybe the screen was cracked on it or something to that effect. And if people actually understood what he actually does with that money that he makes, you would change your tune. Not everybody in this world gravitates towards physical wealth. They don't gravitate towards stuff. As a matter of fact, I know several people that are very well to do for themselves, and their dream to get away from everything at the end of the day is to go and get some land somewhere, have a small one-story house, cabin style setup maybe, with a river or a lake attached to it, some ATVs, some, maybe some farming equipment, and that's it. Go hunting, fishing, to get away from all of this. This world and the people in it live their lives full of distraction. We've all known for several years what's going on at the southern border here in the United States, but every day there seems to be some new emergency alert or new headline that something happened at the border. Okay, great. Something happened at the border. Something's always going to happen at the border. It's wide open. Nothing new to see here. People talk about the news reports of the Muslim rioting problem that's happening over in the UK right now. We've known about it for years, of how UK just opened their borders and let all these immigrants come in. We knew this stuff was going to happen, but the news creates it and cranks it out in such a way. Distraction. Southern border, distraction. We've known for years about the war between Ukraine and Russia, but every day some new headline pops up. Distraction. The constant war that's been going on in Israel, that country has never seen a day of peace since it became the state of Israel in 1948. Now Israel and Iran are getting ready to, square off and go toe to toe. Okay, distraction. We all know it's coming. Clearly everything that's happening right now in this world is fulfilling biblical prophecy right in front of our eyes. And many people, they don't even realize it. And some do realize it, but they've been brainwashed in a completely different way of thinking. They don't even know what to look for. See, all of the things that are happening were prophesied to happen. Everything that is happening was prophesied to happen. You have all these people that keep talking about all of the things that are happening here in the United States and everything United States related to the prophetic end times. Like the United States is actually written into the Bible when it's not. When you start hearing people talk like that, they're talking under replacement theology, which is the doctrine of Satan. The Jewish people have never been replaced. They never have been, and they never will. I mean, where does it stop? Our society is so far removed from God, Yahweh, then unless some serious correction is made, there is going to be no hope. Not for the societies, not for its people. I mean, you have things that happened that I know everybody's aware of with this past Olympics. That disgusting abomination that was mocking the Last Supper. The full Sodom and Gomorrah on full display, mocking the Last Supper, mocking Yeshua. You have men pretending to be women competing in women's sports. Men saying they're women just so they can go into women's locker rooms. For no other reason than they're perverted or a pedophile. And then you have parents that support it. And everyone else who tries to steer clear from it and speak out against it, they're slandered. They're called bigoted, homophobe, transphobe, you name it. And it's only going to get worse. There have been several times that I've, in conversations I've had with others, and even thinking to myself, how I would love to meet Yeshua. Just once. Before I die or be alive long enough to see his second coming. Well, the latter of those two, I don't believe is going to happen for me. But I did have an encounter with him. Not going to get too much into the details, because for some odd reason the details about the encounter tend to freak people out a little bit. But what I will say is this. Yeshua is our advocate with the Father that is there defending us, the accused who are being accused by the accuser, who is Satan. He is our high priest. He is our Messiah. And he is our King. And yet, because of the way society is, what it has turned into, because of us, he is in extremely deep grief and mourning because of us. It's one thing to hear it talked about or in, hushed whispers and stuff, or passing conversation, but when you know that you are also part of the problem in society that has been the result of the finished product at some point in your life, and to actually see your Messiah, your King, weeping because of you. Because he knows that many are going to perish, billions. He knows it. And I would venture to say he knows exactly who it's going to be by name. He knows it already. But to sit there and bear witness to that, at first you become upset and you start to cry, and then then the anger sets in because of us. And that, brothers and sisters, is why he's coming back full of wrath and fury. Everything on the face of this planet that is offensive, that is loathsome, that is an abomination, is going to be struck down, killed, and destroyed. There is going to be no pleading for mercy, because there is no mercy. People in society have had plenty of time to fix themselves, to live according to his ways, and they refuse. Everyone in this society, you live in the United States, Mexico, Canada, France, Spain, Germany, Belgium, Ireland, and so forth. You've been exposed to the truth, and yet the vast majority of society refuses to accept the truth. People in society have accepted a truth that is not of the teachings of Yeshua, that is not of the teachings of the Bible, that are the teachings of charlatans, false prophets, wolves in sheep's clothing. And the masses have gobbled it up, bit after bit, line after line. See, when you finally understand and figure everything out, when it says many are called and few are chosen, broad is the way that leads to destruction, and many will find it. Narrow is the way that leads to salvation, and only few find it. It all makes sense now. Because of all these false doctrines people adhere to, once saved, always saved, all you need to do is confess once, say a sinner's prayer, and you're good. And you can go and live your life the way you want to, because you're saved by grace, remember? Or you're part of the Catholic Church. Yeah. That molest little boys, who prays to dead saints, worships the dead, goes and conducts secret forms of witchcraft, is full of idolatry, and worships a man with the title of Pope, who says he is the vicar of Christ on earth. Nobody can take the place of our Messiah. Not now, not ever. Because one, our Messiah was not part of Satan's army, the Jesuits. People saying that you have to have acceptance to all things that Yahweh hates, but yet you're to love I'm getting tongue twisted here, that you're to love the stuff that Yahweh hates, and you're supposed to hate the stuff that Yahweh loves. What I will say to you, there is only one doctrine. There's only one assembly. There is no such thing as a church. Made up name. The Sabbath is still valid, and it is not Sunday, where Sunday was a creation by the Roman Catholic Church, who tried to do away with the Sabbath and cause people to forget about it. You see, it talks about in Scripture where Yeshua said in the book of Matthew that do not think that I came to abolish the law or the prophets. I didn't come to abolish, but to fulfill. Yet people still get abolish and fulfill somehow. They forget what the English language is and think that abolish and fulfill mean the exact same thing. You have people out there who are praying to a different God. In most cases, they're unaware of it, because their whole lives they've been mentally conditioned. Everyone in the Protestant church has been conditioned to not do anything that the Jews do, because we are Christians. The last time I checked, we are supposed to adhere and obey, doing the will of the Father, of the commandments and the laws that are written down in Scripture. But then you'll have people that'll tell you, you're being legalistic. Or I've heard people say you're a legal Nancy or some such nonsense. You're right, we are supposed to believe and have faith, yes. But because we love Him, we keep the commandments. People are not doing it. Because they don't care. They're not committed. We have people that will go into a Sunday service completely not even keeping the actual Sabbath. They'll sit there for an hour or two listening and singing and thinking that that's worship and praise. And then when they leave, they go right back to what they were doing before they walked into the assembly or the ecclesia. So they put their face on, they put their mask, their makeup on. It says in the Bible that if you say you love him and you do not keep his commandments, you're a liar, and the truth is not in you. I also remember it's written in the Bible, believe it's out of the book of Proverbs, that he who turns his ear away from listening to the Torah, or the law, his prayers shall be an abomination. I bet some of you have never heard that one before. That if you turn your ear away from listening to the law, the Torah, even your prayers are an abomination to Yahweh. If you're not going to do what he told you to do, why should he listen to your prayers? Why? All you are disobedient, rebellious children. He's not going to care what your prayer has to say. It's an abomination. It will go unanswered. As far as I know, you could end up bringing more problems on yourself. People grow up hearing this statement that Yahweh loves the sinner and hates the sin. Again, a pack of lies. It says in the book of Psalms, chapter 5, verse 5, that he hates all who do iniquity. And then you jump forward to Psalm chapter 11, verse 5. And he whose feet run to evil, even his soul hates. So you see all this stuff with this protests, street fights and going on, your feet running to evil. He hates you for doing that. He never wanted violence to be part of our society like this. There were certain reasons in the Exodus why Yahweh had the Israelites decimate and destroy and wipe out various civilizations, because they were being judged for being disobedient. And it was time to replace them with Yahweh's chosen people who would obey and be obedient. Well, after being in the desert for 40 years, they tested Yahweh the 10th and final time. And any of them over the age of 20 would die in the wilderness. In that case, 10 was the magic number of how many times they're going to put Yahweh to the test. You have people, these couples out here saying, going on missionary trips, etc. And are not even married, and yet they're sleeping in the same bed together. Or back at home, living in the same home together. And you think that's acceptable and pleasing to Yahweh? People that go and have these secretive affairs or get divorced for absolutely no reason except that you're bored. And these people that do this, that go to an assembly, say that they're a man or a woman of God. Really? You need to stop lying to yourself. People that are constantly going around watching things like pornography, or having illicit, lewd thoughts in their mind and acting upon them. Children who do not honor their parents, but you also have parents that are provoking their kids to anger and wrath, which you're not supposed to do. Parents should not be provoking their children. You get people out there, you don't love your neighbors, you love yourself. You make sure that your belly's full, but when's the last time you went and gave somebody who was homeless on the street asking for a handout? When's the last time you went and actually gave them some food? You know, just curious, you know. And I'm going to tell you, when Yeshua comes back, for those who are going to be alive to witness it, you're going to witness and see here's the thing. The Yeshua that people are talked and told about, and they make all these movies, TV shows about him, he's not coming back as this loving, kind, gentle, soft-spoken man. He is coming back to take back what is his with all and absolute force. He's going to he is going to destroy everything in his path. So you people, you think you actually know him when you don't. You have absolutely no idea what's coming. And I feel a little bit of pity for those who will suffer at his hand. Because you did not have the love of the truth to actually read the scriptures, to study them for yourselves, so that you would have the knowledge and have the discernment to unlearn the lies that are being taught in all these pulpits. For it is written, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. People that have also sprung up this whole nonsense about this pre-tribulation rapture that's supposed to take place. There's the biggest... That is a lie straight from the pits of hell. There is not going to be any pre-tribulation rapture. There is no one here special enough that you're going to be whisked away so you don't have to go through the persecution and the suffering and the starvation that's going to happen in the end times when the actual Antichrist does surface. You're going to suffer at his hands and through the people he controls, just like the 12 apostles and how they all died. And you have the first century Christians. They weren't given special treatment. They were burned at the stake, beheaded, filleted, dismembered, fed to beasts in the arena in Nero's Rome for entertainment purposes. But you have this crowd out there that thinks that they're special enough that they're going to escape all of this. You people that are living in that think that and are living by it, you people are so deceived, it is pathetic. And this is an exact reason and example of what happens when you don't seek out the knowledge for yourself. You need to go back and read the parable of the wheat and the tares. The tares and the wheat were allowed to grow next to each other equally. Then when the harvest comes, the reapers go down and they first gather up the tares, tie them into bundles, and burn them. Then the wheat is gathered and placed into the barn. And for some of you who don't catch what that is, the good wheat are the true children of Yahweh that are gathered up by the angels and will be placed into paradise. Yeshua says it will be just like in the days of Noah, where people that were eating and drinking and giving in marriage and marrying and so forth Noah and his family were told to get into the ark because the floodwaters came. And all the other people, they were taken away. Noah and his family, they were left here. So if you're part of this crowd who sits there and says, yeah, I want to be one of the ones that gets called up. No, you don't. This also goes back to people not understanding Paul's writings, where it says, in the moment, in the twinkling of an eye, we shall all be transformed. That the dead in Christ shall rise first, then we shall rise and together with them meet our Messiah in the air. Oh. And it does say in the Bible when that will take place. At the end, after the tribulation. After. Not before. After. There is only two comings of the Messiah. He already came once. And he's only coming back one more time. He's not coming back to snatch people out of here before the tribulation starts and then comes back again at the end of the tribulation. No. The biggest thing people need to remember is with the storm that is everything happening in our world right now that is raging around us, keep your eyes fixed on Yeshua. Do not doubt. So with that, folks, he's coming back. And he's coming back with fire in his eyes. And he is going to destroy and lay waste to all of this. Only a remnant will actually be saved. So with that, shalom, brothers and sisters.